Podcasting from St. Louis, Missouri, this is Functional Wellness with Dr. Allison, your information and inspiration hub for all things health, wellness, and functional medicine. Your host, Dr. Alison DiBarto Goggin, has been practicing functional medicine for over 11 years. She is passionate about finding root causes and solutions for gut health, hormone balance, anxiety, and autoimmune conditions. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Good morning. I am Dr. Alison DiBarto Goggin with Little Black Bag Medicine, if we haven't met yet. And today we are talking about blood sugar, because I know I say the words blood sugar a lot. It's in all of my videos. It's everything I've ever talked about. So that's what we're going to discuss today. What does it mean? How to test for it? What does it affect in your body? And what to do about it? So let's dive in. Blood sugar or blood glucose is just a measure of the sugar is in your blood that comes from food. It's really important for our health. Of course, we know sugar, glucose is fuel for our body. It helps us sleep. It helps us function. It helps our liver. It helps our brain, all of that good stuff. But when we talk about blood sugar, and insulin response is really what we're more after, what's most important, what we're looking at. This really affects all of your life. So if you ever watch any of my videos about sleep, about hormones, I talk about blood sugar a lot because it can affect insomnia, anxiety, PMS, high cholesterol. If you have difficulty losing weight, if you're tired all of the time, if you have fibromyalgia, this is a really big conversation for you. So we measure blood sugar or blood glucose through the blood. So you notice it's usually at the very top of your blood work, it just says glucose right at the very top. So that's what we're looking at. A normal traditional range of about 60 to 100 is what we see on the labs. That's fine. That's normal for fasting levels. So if you're looking at non-fasting levels. So if you take your blood sugar throughout the day, or say you schedule your blood work later in the day, you're going to notice that your numbers are going to be higher, and that's normal. So after you eat, it can range from 100 to 170 based off of what's going on, what you've just eaten, and then it comes down after you eat throughout the day. So the best time to actually do your blood work for traditional labs is to have it done in the morning while you're fasting. Sorry about my dogs barking in the background. They're always going to be barking. So we want to have your blood work done in the morning, so that way we get it fasting, because it tells us exactly what your body's doing on its own, which is important. So when your blood sugar is too low, it's called hypoglycemia. And when it's too high, that's when we start talking about diabetes. So another test for blood sugar, and there's actually quite a few, but the most common one is hemoglobin A1C. And this test measures your blood sugar over the past 3 months. So it gives you about an average of what's going on with your body. This is a test that we diagnose diabetes from. I do have patients come in who say, oh, my doctor said my blood sugar was high. I have diabetes. I need to be on the special diet. And I would ask them, what was your A1C? And they say, oh, I have no idea. I don't think they tested for that. So always make sure that your blood work is thorough and complete. You're not going to be diagnosed diabetes without that A1C. And so it's a good chance for you, if you have high blood sugar or high blood glucose, but your A1C is still relatively normal, then this is a good opportunity to really focus in and work on your diet before that becomes a bigger issue for you. How I work with blood sugar and why we want it to stabilize. So of course, everyone's different, and we need to make sure that we take into your personal needs when we make your personalized plan, because foods will affect it, food sensitivities, all of those things. So the number one thing is that fiber with each meal can stabilize blood sugar. So I actually love to use doTERRA's fiber. It's powder. You can add it easily into a protein shake or into water and just drink it that way as well. It tastes really good. It has lemon flavoring in it. I've tried a lot of other fibers for my gut health. This one is fantastic. So the fiber will help balance out sugar in your bloodstream to lower the A1C, so you're not releasing as much insulin when you eat. So the other big thing, which I know a lot of people struggle with, is eating consistently throughout the day, about every 2 hours. Now, when you wake up in the morning and you don't feel good, and you're probably nauseous, so you don't eat, and maybe you just have some coffee with some creamer to get you going, or you stop through the drive-thru, and then you don't eat until it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you're starving and you're hungry, you're angry, and then dinner happens, and then you binge at night. This is a typical hypoglycemic pattern that I see with my patients. So don't worry, you're not alone. So you do have to start eating breakfast. It is very important. Now, when you start, I know it's more difficult because you feel really nauseous. So what I usually have people do is start with like half of a protein shake. So that way they are eating just a little bit, but getting that protein in, getting their body woken up, feeling better. It takes about a week or two. And then you'll start waking up and you'll be hungry and you'll feel so much better. That nausea will be gone. You'll start sleeping throughout the night. Always go back. Maybe I'll link it in here, my anxiety, insomnia, and hypoglycemia videos, because I give you the entire physiology of why you need to eat throughout the day and how that's going to impact your sleep. So make sure that you're eating consistently. And that way, instead of being on a blood sugar roller coaster where it's going up and all day, where your body's just releasing cortisol because you're stressed and you're not eating, or maybe a coffee will also release insulin. So if you're just drinking coffee throughout the day, especially in the morning, and you're drinking a lot, you're actually going to spike your blood sugar and your insulin levels. So you're causing this roller coaster. So if you're eating too much, or you're eating too much sugar, or you have a diabetic type issue, your blood sugar is going to be doing the roller coaster as well. So this happens for both people. So it's important that you start eating consistently throughout the day. Now, eating protein at every meal is also really important, because protein and fiber will help stabilize your blood sugar. If you eat carbs alone, like you pick up a piece of fruit, or, oh, for breakfast I have banana and coffee, well, that's actually drastically changing your blood sugar as well, especially if you have soda, caffeine, energy drinks in the morning. You're going to be doing that blood sugar roller coaster all day. You're going to be calling me and saying, I don't know why I'm so tired. I don't know why I can't sleep at night. I'm eating, but you're not eating the right types of foods. So carbs alone will spike your blood sugar, spike your insulin, and you're not going to feel good. So make sure to add in a protein source or some fiber. A bagel has about 55 carbs in it, but only 2 grams of fiber. So you really want to look at the nutrition in what you're eating, because you might think, oh, I'm having a bagel, it has tons of fiber, it's bread, where actually it absolutely has none. It's just sugar and carbs. That's going to spike your insulin. It's going to make you tired and sleepy and crabby too. So you want to balance out that insulin release with protein and fiber too. And sometimes I see a lot of food sensitivities causing insulin spikes, and because it's an immune system reaction, cortisol is released and insulin is released as well. So we can do some testing for food sensitivities. And I always want to check for autoimmune conditions. Now, people who know that they have diabetes type 1 know that they have it. It's usually diagnosed when they're very young, so that's not the issue. Many people, as they get older, actually have latent onset autoimmune diabetes. So this turns on somewhere around 40s to 50s. So we can do a really simple blood test for that as well. Because if you're eating consistently, you're doing well with your diets, maybe you're not responsive to medications, it might actually be an autoimmune condition. So let's talk a little bit more about foods. You might have heard about the low glycemic index foods. So those actually have a smaller amount of carbs and sugar in it. So it's going to create a slower or a smaller spike in glucose and insulin after eating. So that can be really helpful, but it does have its limitations. Now, foods higher in fiber, like we talked about, will control that glycemic index. Like that's why brown rice is better than white rice for the most part. But it doesn't include, the glycemic index does not include the fiber intake. So you want to get the glycemic load lists and look at those, because the glycemic load index will tell you what your fiber is as well as the glycemic index. So that's going to be more of a overall powerful way to have a healthier blood sugar based off of food. A lot of people will feel worse on a gluten-free diet because they are actually trading out fiber for refined foods. So if you find that you're eating gluten-free, but you're also eating a lot of fake pastas and gluten-free breads, they actually have more chemicals in them and less fiber. So you're going to be spiking your insulin more. So I would also stay away from gluten-free products, because that's not going to be helping you either. And so the glycemic load is going to help you understand how your food is affecting your blood sugar. And for someone with hypoglycemia or diabetes, you both can be eating those like low glycemic load foods to avoid that roller coaster. So that is a quick little class on what blood sugar is, blood glucose, why we're talking about it so much. So don't forget that you can always schedule a free health consultation with me so we can review your symptoms, your goals, create a plan for you to move forward and start feeling like yourself again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Functional Wellness with Dr. Allison. If you would like personalized care and testing, you can schedule a free introductory consult with Dr. Allison online at Little Black Bag Medicine or message us on Facebook at Little Black Bag Medicine. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.